everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Over the Curb podcast, a Formula One podcast for fans old and new by Formula One fans old and new. I am here as usual with Shakuni and Shakuni. What a race!
It had everything. It
What
was an Abbas
a
Khan film.
race! What a race! Oh my god!
This was the true version of Race Sasoki because every spectator was like, no.
My god, like I have this is hands down the best race of the season yet. Like no
True,
questions
true, true,
about it.
true. Man, that was so amazing. It was. Whew.
Wow. So let's start with the qualifying. Practice was more or less okay. Even I did not see a lot of practice. Let's talk
Hmm,
about qualifying. You did not watch the qualifying. So
I didn't. I didn't.
you missed three things that I want to
Oh.
talk about. One,
Mhm.
shitty TV direction. Two, Carlos Sainz getting his first pole.
Yeah,
And
man.
three, Gotifi qualifying for Q3.
Man, I mean,
Gotifi qualifying for Q3. Let that sink in for a second. Gotifi Q3.
so if you think about it, just think in that way. Gotifi is now the Russell for that team.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's rain, and I mean, of course, Nicholas Latifi, incredible performance. Considering that Alex Albon had the upgrades on his car, it's either maybe Albon did not do a good job with his laps, or the upgrades don't work. We don't know. I think I will wait till Austria to make any decision.
Hmm.
But yeah, good performance by Nicholas Latifi. It's like what Gio did when he got to know he might not continue with Alfa Romeo, right? Like there are all these talks about Latifi not being in Williams the next season, and all of a sudden he's fucking qualifying for Q3. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Carlos Sainz got his first pole. Of course, he did not expect it. Like his post quali interview was so funny because he was like, "I got pole," which is funny and heartbreaking at the same time. Because at one point I'm like, I mean, of course, like it's understandable because he's like, "There's Charles, there is Max, and both of them are so strong, and I got pole." But at the same time, I'm like, "Oh, Carlos, please believe in yourself. You can do it. You can do it. It's okay. It can happen." But yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think after Maldonado, Carlos is the next driver who converted his maiden pole into a victory, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yes.
After 2012, where Pastor Maldonado did it, now
Hmm.
Carlos Sainz holds that record. But yeah, that was qualifying. Man, TV direction was so shitty. Like, you know how I got to know Q3 who was doing what? By
Hmm.
the time tower. There's just nothing. I don't even know like what was on the screen. Like it was so bad. Like I think like F1 TV direction should go to the grandstands, pick one random fan and bring them in as a consultant what to show on TV. Like we will get considerably better coverage and broadcast.
Hmm.
Honey Badger says it's Lord Maldonado, not Pastor. My apologies, Lord Maldonado, but his record has now been broken by Carlos Sainz.
None other than.
None other than Carlos Sainz. But like, dude, that podium is so. This podium was so emotional for me because Carlos Sainz is the driver who holds the record of second longest wait
Hmm.
for getting his maiden F1 win. He's sharing that podium with the guy who holds the record for the longest wait for his maiden F1 win, which is Sergio Perez. Like, can you imagine how much they understand each other in this moment? But
I'm
let's.
happy for science. I'm happy for science.
I'm
Genuine.
also happy. I'm actually genuinely happy for Sainz, but I'm not happy with Ferrari. and we'll get to that. But let's talk about the race. That first lap incident, man, that was scary. That was Grosjean level without the fire. Like, and especially because of course F1 does not broadcast or shows the replay unless and until they know that the driver is okay. So because they took it was, I think the first replay was shown after 35 minutes of the incident happening, and it was truly a very, very scary moment. I think some people on Twitter who I think might have F1 TV posted the driver onboards for Russell and Gasly and that's how I got to know what had happened. But yeah, that was one of the scariest things that I've seen in Formula One. I mean, of course, I haven't watched it for too long, but yeah.
But that was very scary. That was some scary shit.
Yeah, and even can we just say thank God for the Halo? Because there was a very nasty crash in F2 as well, and then this crash in Formula One. And it's not just kudos to the Halo, but that Halo can take a beating, man. There was an entire fucking F2 car that dashed into that Halo.
But that was a little, I would say, very, very, very similar to the Hamilton Verstappen crash. Verstappen's car was also on the Halo, wasn't it?
No, it was, but I think Verstappen and Hamilton's incident was that when they were trying to push each other, his tires just kind of that Hamilton's car was rode for Verstappen's tires. With this, Nissani's car hit him sideways straight into the Halo. So in that way, it was different. In Max and Hamilton's case, it was more like Max's car climbed on Hamilton's. This incident was Nissani's car hit the other car, and he's got a five place grid drop for the next race and 3 penalty points. And I don't know why Nissani did what he did. To me, the only way I can see that it was not intentional was if he just cannot steer his car at all. But if he had even a bit of control, I would say that was a stupid way to join the track. Yeah, also Hamilton Max was in a slow corner. It was that first chicane is very slow in Monza. And so,
did the incident happen between Russell and Zhou, or it happened between?
Zhou and Russell were going almost side to side. Gasly was behind them. There was a gap. He went for the gap, but Russell moved. So Gasly was like, okay, I will not be able to make it. He backed off. He braked, but he was a bit too late, or Russell was a bit too left, whatever. His front hit Russell's rear, and Russell spun, hit Zhou, and that crash happened. Vettel was behind Albon. I think Albon braked. Vettel could not react. So Vettel went into the back of Albon. So Albon also spun. There was a lot of chaos that happened. Russell was out. Zhou was out. Albon was out. I think Tsunoda was hit very badly. And Ocon's car also had a lot of damage.
Everyone had some contact or something. Even Leclerc had a problem because of the first contact. Verstappen had some issues. Perez had to change the wing. So I think a lot of damage happened.
No, Perez damage happened after the restart, after the standing start. I think Perez damage and Perez and Charles, they had a little bit of a scuffle after the red flag restart. Okay. Because these the initial 5, 6, 7 drivers were very clear of there was no contact with them. It all happened behind them. They were off. So yeah, but it was good to know that he was okay. It was good to see at the end of the race we saw Zhou on screen, and it was good to see that he was okay. He's been cleared by the medical team. I think that he's okay. So yeah, it's good to see drivers walk away without much injuries after such horrific incidents. So kudos to F1 for introducing the Halo despite everybody being against them. Yeah. Okay. there is so much happening in the race that I have forgotten what all happened in the race. Like, this was such a crazy race.
Let's start from let's address everything that happened in the first, and then let's address the
So, okay,
restart.
yeah. So the incident happened. We had Russell out, and Russell like literally stopped the car, got out of his car to first go and check on Zoe. What a man! And I mean, of course, he might have been feeling guilty also, but it was a racing incident. I think the steward said that there was no investigation necessary. So nothing happened there, and we will talk about it. I think it is their job to just like I think the F1 steward's job is to just say no further action necessary whenever it involves the top 6 drivers. It's just like no action necessary, and the remaining 14 drivers, they are going to investigate with a fine tooth comb. We'll get to that. It happened in this race, but yeah, then we had a very long red flag. I mean, of course, Zoe was, I think, stuck between the barriers and the fence for a very long time. But yeah, and in the information coming out was very slow. And of course, there was no broadcast because I think nobody knew how he was. His camera went off the moment he turned upside down.
Oh.
I mean, of course, like he
Yeah, I
was
mean-
upside down, like it's right there on the top. So yeah, it went off, and I'm assuming he was either unconscious or there was a loss of comms. Otherwise, we would have gotten news about his well-being or not a bit too soon. I mean, like much sooner. But yeah, then let's talk about the restart. And can I just say, Carlos Sainz, what a lucky bastard. Like, it was his day. It was his day because of course it was like the race was supposed to start with the same grid order as the qualifying. So he did mess up his restart the first time, like at the actual restart, but the restart after red flag was amazing. What a start by Carlos Sainz.
We had 3 race leaders today, right?
Yeah, we had Hamilton, we had Sainz, and for a while there we also had Charles. So yeah.
That was this was an amazing race, and I'm so happy I watched it.
Okay. Russell was not allowed to race. I thought his car was damaged. That's why it was because he got out of the car and the marshals carried his car to the pits. That's why he wasn't racing. Like, isn't there a rule that if you get out of the car, or if you have to get somebody's if you have to get the marshals help to get your car running or something, that you will not be allowed to race? I'm waiting for Honey Badger to type. I'm sure he's typing. I don't know. I was watching with friends, so I wasn't really listening to the commentary, but I think I need to stop doing that because then I don't get to know shit.
Oh no, we also had Max in the lead, right? Oh yes.
I mean, is that really leading? Because like it was red flag.
No, but I mean he did lead, right? So we have 4
I mean,
races.
technically, he did not, because if he led, then he would have started at the restart. He would have been the car on pole. Technically, he did not lead. Please don't take this away from me. I don't want to give Max any credit today. Yeah, so Sainz did such a good start and good defense against Max, but then pulls a Sainz, fucks it up. That literally looked like how I drive Formula One when I play. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it literally looked like that. I don't know what happened there, but it was unfortunate.
But it's okay. I think it was supposed to be iconic, and it just happened, and I loved every bit of it. So yeah. I mean, do I have complaints about the race? Yes. Do I want to take them up? No.
No, I want to take them up. I have complaints about the race. Yeah, but we'll talk about happier things first. So Lewis Hamilton, what a fucking drive! What a drive!
My man knocked it out of the park,
Dude,
literally.
I am telling you that Mercedes is taking steps in the right direction.
Hmm.
Like in the right direction. It's unfortunate that George couldn't race. It would have meant so much to him to race at Silverstone, like first time in the Mercedes. Do you think this is the start of George's curse in Silverstone, like
No, no.
Charles has at Monaco
Mhm.
with
No, no, no.
Mercedes?
No, no,
I
no.
think it is. I
Nope.
think it is.
Nope.
The only thing I'm sad about is that George's streak of finishing top 5 in every race will get. Now it
But he
will
did not
be
race only,
charged.
right? He did not
Yeah,
race
now
only.
that's what I'm saying. Now it will be like if he continues to finish in top 5, now it will be like George Russell has finished in top 5 in every race that he has finished, like as opposed to all races in the season. So
Hmm.
I am sad about that. But yeah, this race would have been very interesting if George was also in the mix. Like, especially after that safety car restart, I think it would have been crazy.
Possible. Where did George finish in qualifying?
He qualified 8th.
Would have been
No,
spicy.
yeah, Honey Badger makes a very good point. Mercedes is the tortoise in the race. Tortoise, like the hair tortoise race. Yeah, I know. There is an entire floor thing also that I have to like read up on to like even talk about it. But the flexi floor issue, I want to understand what is going on there. But from what little understanding I have is that there are not going to be any changes this year, but from next time onwards, flexi floor thing would be in use. And if that is in use, I think that makes Red Bull and Ferrari's cars illegal, or the other way around. It's either that they are not using flexi floors and Mercedes is, and like next year onwards, using flexi floor is going to be mandatory, or it's like they both are using flexi floors but they are not legal, and so I don't know. It's either of the two. I'm not sure, but yeah, I will read on that, and maybe we'll talk about it in
The
Austria
next
preview.
episode.
Yeah. So yeah, there was way too much happening, man. What else happened? Okay, so we got Lewis Hamilton flying. We had Charles flying. We had problems in Max's car. We had an unfortunate incident. I think Charles and Perez touched, and that's
Yeah,
why there was damage on. Yeah.
Charles and Perez touched, and because of that, there was damage in Perez's car. Charles's car was a little less, but Perez had to come into the pits to replace
Yeah,
his wing.
yeah. But can I just say one thing? Perez getting driver of the day was so undeserved. Like he literally, like throughout the race, there was not even one replay of Perez doing an actual overtake. Like he did not do an overtake. He got those places back because everybody in front pitted. Like there was no overtake. Perez did not deserve the driver of the day. It should have been either Charles or Lewis. Yeah.
I would agree for Lewis, but then also I am a Lewis fan, so
I think Charles and Lewis both did a fantastic job today. For me, it's like 50-50. Like literally, it's not even 51-49. It's 50-50. They both were at their top game. Like
so for me, Lewis a little more than Charles because Lewis was able to get into the top three,
and
and
also that double overtake. Oh,
exactly.
oh.
That was so amazing. That double overtake. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. Oh, man, I was so sure of that victory. And the minute Ocon stopped, I was like, fuck, this is a safety car and all the advantage is gone.
Exactly, like everything that he did throughout the race just gone in one swoop.
Yeah, and because Perez was around, I think, 17 seconds behind him. And it was just like, and I was just like, if only Ocon's car had stopped somewhere at pit entry, would have
It
been
would have been
a.
a VSC and
Yeah,
things
it
would
would
have
have
been
been a
different.
VSC. Yeah. But because he was on the track, had to be a full safety car. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Max Verstappen's problems. I don't really know what happened. He said he ran over some carbon and something happened in his car.
So what the commentators and they were saying is that his left brake coupler fell off, and because of which he was not able to control the car as much as he would have wanted to. So that was one, and the other issue I think was in the tires, because the hard tires today were taking a lot of time to get in that control of the driver. So that was the
Yeah.
other.
Okay.
Even Sainz had a lot of problem with the tire, right?
Yeah, I think that hard tire was not the best choice today, as Charles
Hmm.
found out as well. Another Ferrari strategy fuck up, I would say.
Today, I would
For
even say a Mercedes fucker.
No, I don't think it was a Mercedes fuck up, but I would just say that I
I would say
think
it was
they
a
didn't.
Mercedes fucker because he like he was doing good with the medium tires. If he would have been on mediums, he would have still done wonders. The soft tires just did not have any grip for him in the beginning.
Yeah, I think if they had gone for mediums rather than softs, I think that could have resulted in something different. But
Hmm.
also, I think everybody who pitted for softs because it was only 12 laps, and
Hmm.
I don't know, it was a gamble either ways. I would say it was a gamble either ways. So I think it's okay. He still got a podium. It could have been a race victory, but yet another safety car coming towards the end of the race, fucking up a
Fuck
Lewis
up.
Hamilton victory. Man, that is some serious PTSD. But yeah, I think that it was a justified call. When you have a Red Bull
Hmm.
behind you on softs and you have to catch a Ferrari in front of you that is on softs. Granted, you were like Lewis was at par with them on mediums, but if you have to compare the Mercedes on medium versus Ferrari on softs, I would say no. I would say the Mercedes would be slower because
Also,
of
I
the
would just
tires.
like to point out, even with a bad car or with a problem car, Verstappen was almost 15 kilometers faster than Mick on the straights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Max's problem had anything to do with car performance per se, like the ability of the car to perform. It's just that if his brake is not working, he would have to, take
Mm.
that into account and drive accordingly. But I would also say that it's a good damage limitation by Max and Red Bull. He could have scored a lot of points, but he finished what, seventh, and that's I would say decent damage limitation.
That's a really good damage limitation if you think about it.
Yeah, not that I think Max needs it, but I think that with now Mercedes catching up with both of them, I think
Mm.
if not contending for the championship, I think if Mercedes takes a few precious wins away from Max or from Charles, I think that could make the championship spicy. So
Possible.
yeah. So now every point matters.
Mm.
Also, both the Alpha Tauris crashing into each other. What the fuck was
What was
that?
I
What the
was
fuck
about to
was
ask.
that? I don't know what happened there.
What was
They
Sunoda
fucked up.
doing?
They fucked up my fantasy team, man. I'm more
What
pissed
was
about
Sunoda
that.
doing? Why was Sunoda doing whatever? What is wrong with Sunoda? I don't understand.
I don't know.
He needs to understand patience. He needs to understand racing. Seriously, he is very immature.
I mean, I will give it to him. Like it's never good to crash with your own teammate, but we've seen a lot of drivers do it.
Yeah, but there was no need of it. Is my point. There was no
There is
need of
never
it.
a need of it. There is never a need of it. Like
No, no.
there
See,
was no
see,
need for
Daniel.
Max and Daniel Ricciardo to crash in
There
Baku.
was, there was. They were fighting for the pole. I mean, podium. Sorry, they were fighting for the podium. So that was
Yeah,
the
but
need
there
for that.
you no, but you can fight with each other without crashing into each other.
That's true. That is very true. But what I'm saying is that at least if you're fighting for a podium or something, then it's understandable that okay, emotion mein beh gaye. But
No, but
over here,
where were they when they both of them were still in points, right? So they were fighting for more points. It's justified. If that is your logic, then that is justified because you're always fighting for more points. even if it is a podium place, essentially, sure, it's a podium, but again, you're fighting for more points. Then it is justified if you use that logic. I'm just saying that if you crash with your teammate, it's just there is no reason. Like even today, like we had both the Ferraris fighting with each other, but there was no crashing with each other.
The Ferrari engineers were so scared of if they would crash in.
Ferrari,
They delayed the team orders for so long.
they delayed the team orders for so long. One thing I would say that Mercedes fucked up was as soon as they saw that the Ferraris let Charles pass Sainz, they should have pitted Hamilton. They should have pitted him right then and there because he lost a little bit of time because he had an 18-second lead from Sainz, but he stayed out, I think, 1 or 2 laps extra when Charles came into second place. And then when he finally pitted, the gap was somewhere around 17 seconds. So he lost that 1 second and then they fucked up his pit stop. So that was.
His pit stop was also a little slow, right?
Yeah, 4.3
Hamilton's
seconds.
was around 4 seconds.
So I think they should have pitted Hamilton the minute Ferrari switched places, like on that lap.
But now that we have spoken about that, and that, oh, con man, why did you do that? Why did your car have to stop on that lap only? But after that yellow car, race
Yellow flag,
restart,
safety car.
yellow safety car, and the race restart, and oh my god,
This was the
5-6 laps?
most entertaining 10 laps I have ever seen. Like this was amazing.
Because till that time we had no idea who would be the top 6.
Yeah.
I'm also including Alonso and Norris because they were also fighting like hell.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so fun.
Man, but I will tell you one thing. Like Sainz should have stayed behind Charles and defended.
No,
they should have exchanged places in the last lap, but they should have made sure that they get a Ferrari 1-2. This was the best chance that they could get. Sainz would have been able to defend against Perez and Hamilton on fresher softs compared to Charles on older hard tires. And they should have, halfway through the last lap, they should have changed their positions. I think Ferrari could have gone for a 1-2 here. And again, I will say one thing. Ferrari is up against a team that is going to do anything to win, unless and until Ferrari starts taking some risks and try some radical things. They cannot win a championship because Red Bull is always going to be there. Like this is their best chance to fight for a championship. Like next year, I am sure next year, like even halfway through this season, I would say there is a good chance that Mercedes might come back, and there is a good chance that they might
They are here.
Yeah, and there is a good chance they might take that second position in constructors from them.
Yeah, very, very, very possible.
So Ferrari needs to up their game. And I don't see that. And Honey Badger makes a very good point. Toto would have done it in that same situation. Toto would have done it in that same situation. Horner would have done it.
Oh, without
they wouldn't have thought for a single second. Every single point counts. And it's sad that on a day that Max Verstappen was having such a bad race,
they could not capitalize it.
Could not capitalize on it, because even if Charles had finished second, he would have taken off 12 points of Max's lead, as opposed to 6 points that they took off. And
also being third on that lead, because Perez is second now.
Exactly. And I mean, as heartbreaking as it would have been for Sainz, if Charles had taken the win, then that would have been a 19-second advantage taken off of Max's lead. So very crucial points that Ferrari lost for Charles, I would say. If nothing else, they should have gone for the 1-2. They had it, and that's. I mean, Honey Badger knows it better than me, but that's what it is, being a Ferrari fan. So yeah, dude, even I am disappointed because I'm like, how is it that I can see it? I don't even I literally don't have any stakes. I'm just doing this because Mercedes is not yet in the race. Like it's the only reason I'm supporting
You are
Ferrari.
a part-time Ferrari fan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have any problem with Ferrari. I just don't want to support Red Bull. So that's my
Mm.
only reason. But
Mhm.
yeah, and that was a bad call by Ferrari. They could have still ensured Carlos Sainz won, but they should have aimed to take off maximum number of points from
The Red Bull.
Max's lead. Yeah.
Max's lead and Red Bull,
And
if you
Red
think
Bull,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Because
and
they are
also
also, they could
this was
also,
a good, opportunity for them from a constructor's point of view as well, because
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They only had one car. Even Mercedes is catching up, right? But Mercedes only had one car. There was no
Mercedes is
George Russell.
catching up, and how? I mean,
Yeah,
they are picking up races one by one.
yeah. I
See,
think
that's
they're
the thing that
just
I love
61
about Toto.
points behind. They're just 61 points behind.
This is seriously the thing that I really, really, really love about Toto is because he is so like that planning that he does is so on point.
Yeah, I don't know what is.
Even we've been saying this throughout the year that Mercedes is not good, Mercedes is not good, Mercedes is not good. They are third in constructors, fourth and fifth and sixth in the points lead.
Yeah, and that's only because George wasn't in the race today. Like he
Yeah,
literally scored 0 points.
or else he would have been for fourth.
Yeah, I could see that happening. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why Ferrari did not, like, you could not pit Charles. I understand they did not have the time to react to it, but they should have told Carlos to play the team game until the last lap and then ask Charles to give the place back to Sainz for his win.
Hmm.
Like it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, that would have been possible.
Yeah, so that was a little bit disappointing. I mean, it's Ferrari. All right, let's talk about the shitty things then. You want to
Easy.
talk about the saga of the
Second,
podium
fourth,
battle?
third, second, fourth,
The podium
second,
battle.
third. No, I will not call it the podium battle.
The battle for the first 5 places.
First six.
Was 6th place. I think I would then also include 7th and 8th because Mick and Max were
Yeah.
also fighting.
Yeah.
Like last 5 laps, we have a battle going on for all 8 places, like the top 8 places.
Ooh, a battle and how? Oh man, that they were. Oh, it was so fun, so fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like Max and Mick were fighting, like fighting to the line, like to the line.
yeah, it was so fun, man.
That double overtake, man. Oh,
Oh, that Lewis double overtake, it was
oh my
so
God, it was
brilliant.
so beautiful.
Oof. And
Oh,
after that switcheroo from Charles and Perez and Hamilton, and then Perez again. Then Perez took the second position. Then Charles and
yeah.
Hamilton fought for the second and third.
Third position. Yeah.
Oh, so much happened, man.
It's like it was so evident that Charles just did not have the pace against the Red Bull and Mercedes on softs. Why would they not ask Carlos to defend against them and then take the victory on the last lap? Man, I don't understand. Like, don't even need to have the data, like, of all the years of experience. You would know that the harder tire is going to be slower than, like, there is going to be some time advantage to the cars on the softer tire. I don't understand how they could not see that. It's annoying.
It was sad, to be very honest.
Yeah, Honey Badger, I know it wasn't that brilliant, but it looked amazing.
What?
The double overtake.
Oh,
He
yeah.
says Checo cut the corner and drove into Charles, and
Mhm.
that gave it the. But again, like
That looked
that
brilliant. That looked brilliant.
looked brilliant, but again, that should have been a penalty for Checo.
Oh, no penalty.
It looked brilliant, and that's what we're saying, Honey Badger. We're not saying that was an amazing move. We're saying it looked brilliant. It just aesthetically, it was good. That top angle shot was amazing. But yeah, Just FIA doing FIA things, man.
FIA
the
is the best governing body in the
these
history of
things are
governing body.
these things are going to matter, these things are going to matter. Like every call that the FIA misses, where they are so obvious that they are not giving any calls against the top six drivers. It's just going to be, because if you remember, in this very race, Yuki Tsunoda got a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision.
With Gasly, right?
Collision, you were saying, he caused a collision, you give him a 5-second time penalty, and you add 2 penalty points for him. And when Max or Checo or Charles or Sainz or Lewis or Russell do similar thing, then there is it's always no further action. Why is it always no further action? I don't understand how this is possible. There were 2 incidents of Sergio Perez noted, for once for driving Lewis off the track, and one for driving Charles off the track. And
And
there is
even the
just
the initial accident between him and Charles, that was also
yeah,
noted.
it's just there is no action necessary. Are you literally telling me that everything that these drivers are doing is just a racing incident, or everything that these drivers are doing is unintentional, that it's not deliberate? Because I can tell you, it looked deliberate. It did. At least even Max pushing Mick Schumacher off the track, that was deliberate. He did not leave space for him. Should have left the space for him. He drove him off the track. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I thought that when I said that, I don't know how many episodes ago, when I said that the FIA is not going to give out any decisions against the top 4, top six drivers, I was trying to create a false conspiracy theory, but the FIA is just proving me right day in, day out. And I'm scared now. Like, it's not a funny
FIA,
conspiracy theory for me.
FIA is listening to you. You should be happy. FIA, if you are listening to us, thank you. Big fan.
FIA, if you're listening to us, of all the things we say you should do better, this is the one you pick. This is the one you choose to follow. It's the stupidest fucking thing that I've ever seen happening. And man, it's just irritating. And no Saudi GP. Yeah, no. If you're listening to us, no Saudi GP. And please keep Spa on the calendar. I'll not tolerate these talks about no Spa next year. What else? Mick Schumacher first points, man. Mick Schumacher
Mm.
first points. I'm happy. Carlos Sainz first win.
Vettel,
It's
Alonso, both in points.
both in points. It's a bittersweet day. I still, like, the this race was so good. And the only thing that would have made this better, or like the only thing that I was hoping would happen, was either a Lewis Hamilton win or a Ferrari 1-2. I did not care who won the race. I wanted it to be a Ferrari 1-2. Like, either give me a Lewis Hamilton win or give me a Ferrari 1-2. Like, I have nothing against Checo, but like, those were the things that I wanted from either of them is fine.
Same.
That's
Would
what
have
I
loved it.
wanted. Yeah, Ferrari's going to look back at these instances, and they are seriously going to kick themselves. Spain, Baku, Monaco, Silverstone, they have already fucked up too much. Like, any advantage they had because of those initial Max Verstappen DNFs is now gone. And even Imola, it was Charles doing a mistake, but still, like, yeah.
I don't think. Okay, so do you think Binotto has that instinct that Horner and Toto have, like, to give those harsh orders to the drivers?
Uh,
Because I don't see them. That's why I'm asking. Like, do you think there is
I mean,
any weather?
I know that Binotto at the start of the season had said that there is no number one driver at Ferrari. And I have mad respect for that kind of a thinking. But seeing where we are in the championship,
They should have one.
they should have a number one driver. Like they should not even be thinking of being fair right now, because the other sides are not going to play fair. They are not going to play fair.
And they are not. So
Horner,
it's not that.
yeah, exactly. Like Horner will not think twice before sacrificing Checo's race. And Mercedes, if they come back, if they back up George, they are not going to think twice before sacrificing Lewis's race.
Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
not.
So when you are in a championship battle and the other team is putting their everything behind one driver, you can't go with this balanced approach. It's like what McLaren did when Button and Lewis were their drivers in the Vettel dominant era. It is what at least Button has said a number of times, where I don't think if I've ever heard Lewis say that, but there was a recent interview with that Jensen Button did with WTF1, and he said even in that there were a lot of times when Lewis and Button will just take points off of each other. There will be some races that Jensen won, there will be some races that Lewis won. There was never a number one driver, and what we had was 4 years of Red Bull dominance, and the only one challenging the Red Bull was Fernando Alonso. Not particularly because Fernando was being favored by Ferrari, but I think it was because Fernando was getting
had
more.
A number one driver.
No, because Fernando was getting more out of that Ferrari than what Felipe Massa could, because that Ferrari was not the strongest. At least I know for sure that 2012 Ferrari wasn't. But still, like the final race of the championship, the battle for the championship was between Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. I mean, imagine like that Ferrari is not even the strongest car, and still he is the one who's fighting for the championship, as opposed to like a stronger McLaren. So like the history of, I don't know if it has happened with Ferrari ever, but like the history of teams competing and not having that kind of approach, and it has shown time and again that it's not good in the long run. If you have all the drivers in the mix, sure, I would understand that you don't have a number one driver, but we are now almost like the next race is going to be the 11th race. We have 22 races, so we are reaching the halfway point of
the season. Yeah.
Of the season, and you have both the drivers that are very far off. Both the drivers are 50 plus points, around 50 points behind Max Verstappen. So what is the point of doing this balanced approach? Like, if nothing else, they are even going to lose their second place in the championship, like the constructor championship, if they keep doing this. It is going to happen because Mercedes is coming back. Like we saw today how strong they were.
Very visible. It's very visible.
Very visible. And also, like, we've seen Mercedes having the porpoising issue and reduced performance because of too much drag, this that on faster tracks. Now that is not the case. Like, Silverstone is a fast track, and the next race you have is also fast track. So it's not necessarily now a quote unquote disadvantage for Mercedes like other tracks where we've had races were. So I would say that now Ferrari is not just fighting Red Bull for the win in the championship, they're also fighting Mercedes to stay second in the championship, and they need to up their game. They need to back up one driver, and I think the entire world knows which driver it should be. Everybody knows except Ferrari, or they know and they just don't want to admit.
That could be the point.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what are they scared of? They already have a contract with Sainz. I really don't see the point. Like, it makes sense for Sainz to win a race when Charles is not in the race at all. Like, Sainz winning the race in Spain would have made sense, but not here. Like, not here when he's at I still think that Charles today should have at least taken off 12 points, if not 19. But okay, it is what it is.
Let's just hope for better races now. Races like this.
I don't know, man. This is like very high standards. But yeah, I think I can see Austria happening like this. I have a feeling that France could also be interesting. Now we have higher hopes. Like, I mean, Spain was interesting, so I think France can do it. Yes, hands down, the best race of the season so far is Silverstone.
Yeah, it was so fun.
We'll do a ranking of
Races, yeah.
best to worst races, once at halfway and then once at the end of season.
So we all know which the worst race will be.
Yeah, Monaco.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
That's it, I
That's it,
guess.
man.
Did anything
That's it.
happen?
I want to talk about the predictions because it was, the funniest thing to me is that our predictions this week, we all went for a different winner, but none of us went for a Carlos Sainz win. We all had different winners. There was Lewis, there was George, there was Max, there was Charles, but nobody went for a Carlos Sainz win.
Hmm.
So
Well.
I will start with Kramer. Kramer predicted Lewis, Perez, Charles. So he gets 2 points for
Ooh.
Perez. He said fastest lap to George. He said
Oh man.
Max DNF, which did not happen. Max had problems, but he did not DNF. Lando beats Danny Rick, so he gets 1 point for that. At least 2 DNFs, so another point for that. So he gets 4 points, and his total is now 28. Honey Badger said Max, Lewis, Russell, fastest lap to Max. None of that happened. He said one Alpha in points, which did not happen. Alonso top 8 in race, so 1 point there, and at least 2 DNFs, another point there. So that's 2 points. Shaguni, you said Russell, Charles, Perez. So none of that happened.
Yeah.
Fastest lap to Max, that did not happen. Then you said Vettel in points, so 1 point there. You said K-Mag beats Mick, which did not happen. And you said at least one McLaren in points. So you get 2 points. So your total is 24. Honey Badger's total is 22. And I predicted Charles, Max, Lewis. So I get 2 points for Lewis. I said fastest lap to Sainz, which did not happen. What I did say was Mick Schumacher first point. So I get 1 point there. I said Zoe makes it into Q3, which also happened. He qualified 9th. And I said Lando out of points, which did not happen. So I get 4 points, and my total comes to 30.
6 points.
See, this is a much closer 30, 28, 24, 22. Much closer battle than the championship.
Wait, I'm at 28.
No, Kramer is at 28.
Oh, damn.
Man, Kramer has had a fucking comeback, dude. What a comeback. Yeah.
He's the turtle in the hair race.
Yeah. No, I think he's just the hair. He's going to fuck up.
No. He's the turtle. He had such bad start. I had a great start and I'm fucking up.
Yeah. Kramer, I think Kramer really turned things around in Canada. He got 7 points. So
And I did
that
not even
really,
participate in Canada. So yeah.
yeah. So those 7 points are like what carried him through. But yeah, that's it. So that's it for this episode of Over the Curve. I just want to like go to sleep now and just take in everything Silverstone and just like sleep in peace knowing that we had an amazing race. So yeah, thanks for joining, man, and thank you everybody for listening to the episode. If you like the episode, please share it with others who you think might enjoy. Please leave us a rating, click on the notification bell so you get updates when we post a new episode. If you have any feedback for us, if you want us to cover anything, or if you want to be part of the podcast, please write to us at overthecurvepodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on our Instagram at overthecurvepodcast or on our Twitter at overthecurvepod. Until Austria, which is a sprint weekend, so qualifying Friday. Exciting. Yes, it is going to be exciting.
It's back-to-back race, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is next weekend. So we have our second sprint of the season and home race for Max Verstappen almost. And I hope Lewis Hamilton wins.
Now it's all Orange Army races, right? Back-to-back Orange Army races.
No, there is Austria, then there is France, Hungary, Belgium, and then we have Netherlands. So there are 3.
So only France is the one without Orange Army. Rest all the 3 are Orange Army.
No. No, dude.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. All right.
All right then. Good night.
Okay. Good night. Bye.
Toodles.